Hey, I'm Ash Sales. My website's Ash Sales Music. Oh no, ashsales.co.nz. We clarified that one just before. My Instagram and my social is Ash Sales Music. I'm going to do a rig rundown, go through all my gear, my looper, my pedals, and how I process it and create the sounds. First of all, I have this beautiful Ibanez guitar that I've been using since 2016. It's actually my wife's guitar, and it was her 21st present, and all the dings and that, and all the holes and scratches, I've done that. It's been my main acoustic guitar since 2016, and what I love about this guitar, it's got a piezo pickup, and it allows me to make a nice thump to make my kick sound. It's got really nice action. I can play it like an electric guitar. I also like the preamp as well in it, and this preamp, which is, I think it's an Ibanez stock one, allows me to pull out any frequencies that resonate in the room, so every now and then I have to adjust it if I've got speakers, but most of the time it's pretty good. It's got a phase switch as well, which is always handy, because you never know. The only downfall of this guitar is its grounding. It's not grounded and I get a hum, so I have to use a wireless unit, and that just cancels that out, which is Samsung, something that I've used since 2013 and still works. It's fine. I'm not one of those guys that is worried about cabling and whatnot. So next, from the wireless unit, I go into my pedal board. I have this tuner. This tuner allows me to go through different presets, like I play a lot in 432 as my reference pitch, but also I can do 440, I can do 441, you name it. It's very versatile and reliable. Next I go into this Morningstar looper, and this looper is all MIDI controlled. Even though I can turn these lights on, I have a computer, which we'll go through soon, that can trigger these on or off. And so in the first part of my looper, in A, I have this wah. I actually brought this from a guy on a cruise ship for 20 bucks, and it was just too heavy, so he's just like basically gave it to me for nothing, and it's been on my board ever since. Geez, that must be like 10 years ago. Trustworthy, solid. The reason why I have it in the loop is to have a seamless transition between wah on and off. Sometimes when I use my toe to turn the button on, I get a pop. So I use the looper to avoid that. Next I go B, and this is the Deep 6 from Walrus Audio. I love this pedal, I've been using it for a long time. It's a compressor, and I use it just for my clean melodies, just to give it a bit of consistency and a bit of brightness, essentially. What I love about this is that I have a blend function where it's usually about 50-50, but sometimes I dial it back depending on the room, and this allows me to kind of make it still sound natural and uncompressed, but I can hide the attack behind it. Next thing is the Pog 2. This is a beast. I've been playing with different octave pedals for many years, and I find the Electro Harmonix ones have the best tracking. I can get a consistent sound. I only use 3 patches in my set. One's a standard bass, one's like a bass with a high octave, and then in the song Reflections I have this sound that I call Doom. It's a mixed match of whatever frequencies, I can't remember now, but I've played with the filters and that to get a weird, kind of unique sound. In D, I have these 2 distortion pedals. This one, the Custom Overdrive from G2D, is a Kiwi guy who makes these. I had a friend once who had one of these, and he lent it to me, and I just fell in love with the tone, especially playing through some of my electrics and my DeVille. It just had a really nice rock and roll tone. Sounds good with the the guitar, acoustic guitar, the Ibanez, and I use this for more of a lighter distortion. However, I do even though the drive's all up, it sounds completely different than electric. What I do love is it's got the solo, it's just another boost. And this just allows me to get above all the loops that I have created. This one here is Sweet Tea. This is a dual overdrive from JHS, and this is the Morning Glory, and that's Angry Charlie, I think. With the acoustic, I only use the Morning Glory, and I use this stacked on top of here if I want more of a rock, like a big bodied, lots of mids sound. Mostly for lead. It sounds really good with combination with the wah, and when I'm trying to find certain like frequencies in the lead, because I'm not trying to wah like Kirk Hammett, I'm trying to create like find areas in the sound to kind of pierce through to make it roll. It's quite a rhythmic style that I use with the wah. Next we got this chorus, CE2W. I just keep it on the CE function, straight in the middle, never changes. That's how I like my chorus. I'm not huge into modulation, but that is where I feel comfortable, and I love the tone out of it. Next we come into here. This is just another looper, and I actually use send this out to Focusrite Sapphire, and I use it as a preamp, and just to make sure that I got constant sound, comes in, comes out, and I know that I'm not going to clip in my looper. So that's kind of like my safety mechanism of like, okay, I can get my control right before it goes into the looper. And it just goes in and out. There's nothing processing apart from the preamp, and it's quite far down, gain function. Yeah, super reliable, solid, multi-purpose too, being interface. Then I come back out and I go to this flashback. I love the simplicity of this unit. I have two patches, because if I do something unique, I just make it up on the spot. I have a few like favorites where, you know, we like to bring the feedback all the way up and get a constant sound. Yeah, really fun to play live, easy to use and reliable. I've had it for a very long time as well, hasn't changed. Yeah, and then from there I actually go from mono to stereo, so all my delays and verbs are going through stereo. So I've got two cables coming in the timeline. This unit doesn't need any introduction really, like you can do anything with it. This is where I get most of my swells. I have heaps of random delays that I've used over the years, and then I've just got banks and banks of presets, and then also the stock things are really great too. So sometimes I just use the stock sounds and use it for inspiration to create my songs, because it's all coming from a sonic place. And then we go in stereo into Big Sky once again. Does anything that you want. I have three main reverbs. So I have like a spring, which is just there just is like a blanket sound. I have a hull, and that's like my, just if I needed a bit more space to fill it out. And if I'm playing like very atmospheric stuff, I have this, I call it pad 1, and it's got quite a long decay on it and quite a slow pre-delay as well, so it just kind of comes up and goes. And what's that one? It's like the coral, whatever that is. It sounds great. I do have some weird patches where I've done reversing, I've done swells, I have some filters in some of them, whether they're subtle or quite loud. I don't have any expression pedal, I just have them as stock, and if I need to change anything I just do it on the fly, but I've kind of got it nailed down at the moment. So yeah, from here I have it coming into the looper. So this is how I create my sounds. The RC505. This is the Mark 1. I would like to get the Mark II some stage, just for the versatility of sending out some of the separate channels for live performances, and having a mixer being able to have more control low end and the high end, and more of my beats and my bass sound to enhance the experience. But with the Mark I, we've got 2 channels. We've got a stereo in, so that's here with my guitar. I marked out where I need my preamps. And the mic, which I can just turn on and off, which is quite easy. It's got 5 separate channels. Yeah, I do have some stock effects as well that I use. For my hi-hats and my snare sound, I have an EQ on here. I do have this panning delay that I occasionally use, and it's nice to bounce off with this one from the flashback. I can get a call and a response, which is quite fun. Yeah, it's great having the sliders because I can pull things out. I always have a filter on the FX out, so that means anything in the tracks will have the filter. I also have a delay too, just to play around with that filter, and if I can get some wobbles. I use this isolator too for a couple of songs, and it's just like a cut from the low end, and it sounds like, what do you call it, like kind of lo-fi. And out of the looper, I go into a Behringer DI. Now I connect everything through MIDI. So my laptop is my master clock, and that's what controls my looper. It's also what controls the timing of these delays in the flashback. It also, the computer also can create the patches. I have MIDI files on my laptop, which you can see here in the green. Those are all my MIDI messages and my songs, and I have some samples and sound bites through in the track. So I essentially have created a backing track for each song, and I use them to guide me to make my loops, essentially. So I keep tight, I keep consistent. Yeah, I use this beautiful machine here, a Nectar Pacer. This almost goes hand in hand with the looper. You got 5 buttons here for 5 loops. Red is record, and so I can record, and then if I want to stop my playback, I go green, and I use blue as undo. There's a couple of songs where I have some funny different messages, and the only thing that I wish the RC505 could do more is more than 16 commands through MIDI. I could use it 25 to have more control. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the sound. And then going straight into DI and then out to the world. Beautiful. Ash South.